Hello guys and welcome to this third part of the series on Helm. So we want to go ahead with something uh, by introducing new thing. So as you can see here, I have a service, okay, file.yaml that I've created on the template as well, and I have it. I took it online, so I don't really know what is going on inside, but I want to customize it and use it as I want. Okay, so for example, I can see here they are missing, for example, label, namespace, and I took it. If you're just wondering, from here, just type service, and then you go down. If you want, you can take it from here or maybe somewhere else. But I took it here. I removed some of the stuff, and I have it. So now, I want to be able to customize it using Helm. So I also went ahead with this values, okay, and created annotations, all right, just to show you how we can have something like this, all right. So I created annotation. We're gonna modify it a little bit because there is something there that I want to give a touch. So we're gonna see how to modify it. Apart from that, I also created something called target environment. I want to use this based on different environment, and I also added the service spec. Okay, where we have either node port or load balancer. I did not put cluster type here. Okay, I'm just navigating between node port and load balancer. So if you want, you can put cluster ID there, and then I put the name, okay, the name for the port and also the port number. Okay, now let's see how we can connect these two together. Okay, so I'm gonna first go ahead with the annotation. Okay, for the annotation, if I was to somewhere here and open that, all right. So let's close this. Let's close that one as well. So here on the annotation usually comes here. Okay. So not there. I'm going to say here annotations. Okay, annotations, and I see something interesting there, which is nice, but we don't really want this one. Okay, so I want to use annotations. So I have two ways of using it. Okay, so if I want to use exactly what I see here, I can use, for example, I have multiple ways. All right, because we say that we have range, we have to YAML, we have width. Okay, but this time around I'm going to use width. Usually when you want to use width, okay, you you can do something like this, for example. Okay, so you come on the metadata, you say width. Okay, and something that I want to say is that width creates what we call a new context. I don't know if this thing is really listening to me or is based on what I put there. I don't really like this. Okay, so I want to put that, as you can see there, that this is acceptable. Yeah, this will be okay. So I want to put it like this. Okay, and now what I wanted to say is that width create what we call a new context. Okay, for your metadata. So when for your values. So when you say width, okay, width, and you put this here, so you are already telling him exactly from where to look at everything. It's not like you can say, you can come back early later on, and then you say release name, or you say something like chart name and so on. Okay, so it will not work. There is a way to access in that case, but if you want to put it like this, all right, you have to if you want to put it like this, you have a specific way to access the data that are inside. Because, for example, if I say values.custom metadata dot annotations, okay, so either I use dot, okay, for what is inside annotation, or I can reuse this and put dot annotation. Okay, so let's see what I mean by that. So I have annotation, which is the keyword itself. Now, let's just accept what it says there. All right, I'm going to explain what that is. So here, all right. So here, when we say width, okay, and then we say dot values, all right. So we know that we go into the values, okay, for whatever values file is passed there. Then we say custom meta data, okay, which is that one. Then we say dot annotation. I could have just stopped at custom meta data, okay, and then here at that point. So if I was to remove this, okay, like this, okay, so with I can only access the data from the boundary that I set up here. Okay, so here I'm setting up the boundaries as value.custom meta data, which means that if I want to access the data that are inside, okay, so this is the boundary here up to here. All right, now if I want to access the data that are inside, I can say dot metadata, okay, until this one ends. Then we can call again the other values as well. For example, spec.replica count like we did here, but we cannot do that here inside here. Okay, so at that point I have to put something like this. All right, but if I call everything, if I call the full path like this, custom metadata annotation, I have to put it like this. And here, if I want to get all the data that are inside the annotation, you can see I have kubernetes.io, owner, mobile Linux, contact, touchless, registry, docker, and so on. Okay, so if I want to access a single data there, I can say, for example, I want to access this one. Okay, for example, I can say I want to access this, or I want to access the owner. All right, so if I put it like this, so it means that it's only that owner that I'm going to access. Okay, so now if we go here, let's see if that will work. So if we go there and then we do Helm template, template, okay, and type this. So it already says that bad characters. Okay, so bad character is because of this. So let's say we just say owner. Okay, so we just say owner here. So I think, yeah, that's probably the reason for that. So we just say owner. All right, and we put it like this, and then we do something like this. So now when I do this, okay, it says, what does it say? It says cannot unmatch a string into those struct here, the metadata annotations, and type map string. Okay, so we need to check and see what is going on there. All right, and as such, let's try to use /debug to know what is happening. Okay, so if we come here under annotation, oh, okay, yeah, I see. So we can access the individual data like this because it will drop only the thing that, you know, the annotation goes in a map, okay, map of string. So that's what he was complaining about. So debug really help us checking what's going on. So at that point, okay, it's better you just say that you want to access all the data this way. Then we have all this. Okay, we have all this data here. All right, so this is because you say that you want to get everything that is there. But if you were to say that you go up to metadata only, then you remove that, and then you come here, you put this. Okay, so this dot, okay, is taking its new how to say that, its new path only from here. It doesn't look at the entire values file anymore. It looks at only this definition, that boundary from where you ask him to start working. Okay, so now if we do this, let's see what we got. We also get the same thing. Okay, so which means that we are good with that one now. Okay, so since we are good with that one, okay, or if you prefer, we can put a dot there. Okay, so if you prefer, we can put that, or we can leave it like that. So now that we are good with that one, so we already know that we can get the annotations there. But there is something that, if you see, we want to apply the principle do not repeat yourself. Okay, try it. All right, so, and this MonLabo Linux is coming from, if you see the chart, okay, we have that here. So it means that we can say release.name, recharge.name, for example, and get that one. Okay, so now you will be asking, how do we pass that there? Okay, it's very simple. You just come here, okay, you do this, you put that like this, and then you do dot release. Okay, dot release dot name, dot release dot name. Okay, and here we can do the exact same thing. So let's put space here since it's getting repeated. Okay, so we copy that and then pass that here like this. All right, but now we have a problem there, because if you do this and you do like this, you will have some problems. Okay, we say that invalid map key, okay, that this one is nil. So what does it say? Why is it saying nil? It says nil because this one is not accessible within this. When you say dot release, okay, it looks at this only from here, because I told you that width define a new boundaries for the data you want to fetch. So when you say width, okay, it only considers this block, okay, and check from that block and see that it doesn't see a release domain. So you need to pass release domain, and the way you do that is by passing something like this, okay, which means that, hey, go from the top level of the values or the Helm. It's like, for example, you have the in Linux /root, okay, and then you are inside a specific file and you are applying relative and absolute path. So now here we are, when you put $, it means absolute path, meaning start from slash, okay, or start from the top level of Helm object, and then from there you can find this. And same thing here, we can put it here. Okay, so let's see what we got. And until like that, we still have some issue. Okay, we still have some issue. So what is the issue now? As you can see, it still says nil. So the issue now is that we have something which is good, but we need to do something here. So when you have data like this, you just do something like this. Oops. Okay, and you can put maybe something like this. But now, how do you consume this, you might ask? All right, so we have something called template. So if you want to use it like this, now you don't need values anymore. Okay, so you don't need values anymore, and you don't need this. Okay, so the only thing that you need is to pass a very specific function. that we call TPL. Okay, so now we will say TPL dot values, custom metadata dot annotations. Okay, annotations, and then we will indent by 4. Okay, so when we pass that, let's now test what we have. Okay, so now it says that a TPL, so usually TPL requires a second argument here. Okay, so that's why you say 1 2 by got 1, so we have to put dot to say that we want to drop whatever we found here inside here. Okay, inside the current location. So if we do this, now you can see that we have first, for example. All right, that's really neat. We need charts, right? So, and like this now we don't need to use the dollar sign, so we just say chart here. This as well, we say chart. Okay, so we also say chart here. Okay, so if I was to type that again, we see that I have MonLabo Linux as I want it. Okay, which is nice. And we can also put back our Kubernetes. Maybe that was that. So KS, I mean, it's a really dummy thing that we did, but IO slash. Okay, so this is just something that we have created. So you can see that now we have annotations here. So that means we are getting close. But I have environment target as well that I want to be able to use. Okay, so I have environment target. So I want my deployment, I want to see my resources in such a way that I will guess what is that where that resource is deployed, for example. So I can do something like this. I say, for example, dot values. Okay, dot, and I can see that I have target environment that is here. So that's what I wanted to use. That's why I can put that as well somewhere there, but I'm not going to do that. So everywhere we require a name, for example, like here, I'm going to use that. So for example, here I will say hold on, I'm not using this. Okay, so let's just use whatever we had here. There, okay. So we will put it like this as well. Nice. So now here is okay. We don't need to put that there. All right. So we are good there. Let's just test and see. Let's just test and see what we got. Okay. I think this is my first or something. Okay, let's leave it like that. Okay, so now if we test that, let's see what we got. Let's remove this debug for good, and when we check, we see that we have dev. Okay, that is pass, and then here as well on the deployment name we have dev. Okay, so this means that it's good, it's being passed everywhere. For example, if I wanted to override that one, so I can use -- set, okay, or -f with another custom values file with custom name. So I can say -- set, and then I say target env, okay, equals to, and then I can say, for example, prod. So let's see what we got. You see that we have prod here, so it went ahead and overrode dev. That is the default. Okay, so all right, so now I want to do something. I want to make sure that if we are on prod, for example, all right, if we are on prod, we can decide that we're gonna release maybe we're gonna deploy maybe 6 or 7 or 10 pods. Okay, if we are on dev, we're gonna deploy only one. If we are on staging, we're gonna deploy maybe 3 or 4. Okay, so for that I can come over here, okay, and put the condition, for example. So I can say if dot, sorry, so if dot values dot, so target environment. So let's say I say if the target environment is not, okay, because that takes 2 arguments, this if. So if the target environment not not, and then I will say equal, okay. If not equal, because equal takes 2 values, so if not equal, okay, to what, to prod, for example, okay. If not equal to prod, or let's check the equality, okay. If okay, if not dev, all right, yeah, so we can do that there. So if not dev, oops, if not dev, all right, then do replica count, which is whatever. No, if not dev, no, we cannot do that. All right, so if equals to dev, let's do like that, it's better. I think we did better like that. So if equal to dev, if the value here is equal to dev, okay, then we take whatever is coming from the default here, from the default value. Else if, okay, that looks a little bit like a programming language. All right, so else if else if equals to maybe something like dot values dot target environment, where it should be equal to something maybe like stage, okay. I think it's better if we say prod here, okay. So if this is equals to prod, for example, we want to, because we want to put our own number here, for example, like we want to say 6. Let's say for some reason we have a cap of 6 pod, or maybe 7. All right, so we have maybe 8 pods, and then if we have a stage, okay, we take 3 letters, STG, okay. So if we have stage, we're gonna take replicas of probably, yes, 4. Else what do we take? Else we do replicas equals to this, and then we have to close our what we open here, because we open that here, we have to close that here, okay. So let's test that a little bit. So So now if we say, for example, prod, okay, so it says something is not allowed on line 17. Line 17. Mapping value not allowed in this one. Oops, yeah, I made a mistake here. Sorry about that. Hmm. Okay. Let's see what is happening there. Alright, now it says 16. Should I open without closing something? Hmm. Yeah, after checking the documentation, I think something from my end that I did doesn't really like it. Okay, so let me do this, do this, even, and so do this. And let's try again. Yeah, so now it works because we were removing the trailing space. So now we can see that we have prod here and we have a. Okay, what about we pass stg, for example, stg, oops, no, stg, for example, what did I do? It's coming to that, so it means that we failed to evaluate stg. Oh, yeah. Again, yeah, sorry about that. I think I was just taking whatever the AI was proposing, and then we can see that we have stg that is 4. So I will stop for this third part, and then I will retrieve you on the fourth part of the video series. Bye bye.